Hey y'all, Chris Cookin' Nashville here. We are sitting here in front of a beautiful crustless quiche. I'm going to taste it for you. I used to do this crustless quiche for myself a lot. When I first started doing carnivore, I think for about the first month, I was really hungry all the time. My body was still adjusting after coming off of the standard American diet, and I would make this quiche or some version of it. Ash remembers me making this all the time. And I would cut this into 4 wedges, and I would take one, I'd wrap them in plastic and keep them in the fridge, and I would take them with me to work every day. That was what kind of got me through for a while, and then I really got to a point where I wasn't hungry for them anymore. And I probably haven't made one of these in 9 months.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
This is really super great quiche recipe. No crust, so you don't have to worry about the carbs there, and it's customizable. You can put in it whatever you want. You can make it keto, you can make it carnivore, however you like it. So I'm gonna show you guys this recipe, show you just how easy it is to have an amazing crustless quiche. All right, so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and flip this out. You wanna do this while it's maybe still a little warm. I have a link down below for some pans that are similar to these it's like an Amazon non-stick cake pan, and it works perfectly to use something like this for these quiche. It just comes right out. It does such a great job. I'm actually gonna taste test today.
Yep.
Ash does not particularly enjoy quiche.
I don't really care for anything that's like an egg bake, which is why Chris kind of has me taste all of his substitutes, because it's like I just don't like egg bakes or anything like quiche. So if it tasted like eggs or like eggs baked, I wouldn't eat it. So you're getting crazy. Oh wow, that looks really
Comes
good though.
right out.
I figured
Not gonna do the baked egg, huh?
I just know that I'm not gonna like it, so I don't think it's fair if I give my opinion when I know that I'm not gonna like it. It's just not something I enjoy.
Not something you eat. I'm gonna use my Dow Strong knife to cut this. You just need a big knife, but I also have a Dow Strong link down below. Gigantic 12-inch Gladiator chef's knives are so good. These things are great. But this is what I used to do with this, right? Kind of gets its own almost crust from the egg mixture on the outside that gets more brown. So I would just cut this into 4. You could cut this into 8 or, however much you want. You can also customize this. I used to throw in sausage. I'd cook sausage and put chunks of sausage in it, or you can do ham, different kinds of cheese. If you're keto, you could do spinach and peppers and whatever. The only thing I would say is anything that you add into this, make sure it's either something like cheese that just melts when it gets hot, or if it's like a meat or a veggie or something like that, make sure it is either cooked before it goes in, or that you're okay with eating whatever it is kind of half raw, because the amount of time that egg cooks to not be dried out is not gonna be enough usually to cook like meat or to soften a veggie or something like that. So if you put like onions and peppers in here, saute them in butter until they're soft before you mix them in, like that kind of thing. So there is the quiche.
It looks really good.
Yeah, super steamy, custard, eggy as a quiche is supposed to be. It's very smooth. It's got cheese cooked all through it, and it also has the brown cheese on top. I like doing the cheese in both ways that way, so.
I used to love these though. Aw, he's happy.
It's so good. This is why I used to make these all the time. It's so good, and like, it's custardy. It's very smooth. It does not have the same texture as eggs at all. If you go someplace like Starbucks and you can get those sous vide egg bites they have, they're very smooth, and there is an egginess to them, but they're very smooth and they're cheesy and they're very flavorful, and they're that custard kind of thing. This is the exact same way, and truthfully, this is so easy to do. And like I said, you can make these ahead of time, you can reheat them. They're just really great. So let me show you guys how I make these, because this is a fantastic recipe to have ready to go anytime you want it. All right, to make this quiche, we're gonna start out by cracking a dozen eggs into the carafe of a blender. You can also do this in a bowl with a mixer or a stand mixer, or you can use whisks, or however it is you want to do this, but we're going to mix this all up. I just find the blender to be the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to crack in a dozen eggs, and then we're going to start adding our other ingredients in here to the blender. All right, in a bowl, I'm gonna use 2 ounces of cream cheese and 4 tablespoons or a half stick of butter. This goes in the microwave for 1 minute to soften that cream cheese and melt that butter. We're gonna come back over to the blender carafe. I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of heavy cream to this. This is gonna give us that creamy texture. I'm also gonna add in 2 teaspoons of beef gelatin. Just gives it a nice, smooth texture. I'm also going to put in about a teaspoon of salt, just season this to taste. I'm going to put in about a half teaspoon of black pepper. You can use more seasonings, you can use less salt. Season this however you want, but this is the way I'm going to do it.
I'm also gonna add in about a half of a cup of shredded cheese. You can use any kind of cheese that you want. I find Colby Jack to be really good. And then I'm gonna take my melted butter and softened cream cheese. I'm gonna add that into the blender as well. And then all we gotta do is take this mixture and blend it. I'm going to start it out on low and then blend it up on high. I just wanna try to get it nice and smooth and creamy. Once that's all blended in, we can go ahead and turn that off, and you can see we have this frothy liquid egg mixture. Now I'm gonna take a non-stick cake pan. I have a link below for some that are really great on Amazon, and I'm just gonna rub this with lard. You can use butter, you can use beef tallow, you can use coconut oil if you're into that, whatever kind of grease you wanna use. We just need to make sure that something is rubbed into this pan, because although it is a non-stick pan, eggs really like to stick to things. So I'm gonna make sure to get all of the edges, all of the creases. And then this is a secret. This is something you've seen French chefs do with things like souffle. I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of grated Parmesan. You can use the fresh stuff, you can use the canned stuff, whatever you want. I'm not too worried about the cellulose in the canned stuff because it's such a small amount. But I'm just going to put a few tablespoons of this in here, and we're gonna roll it around and just put a thin coating of Parmesan that sticks to that lard or whatever kind of oil we've put in there. That's going to also help our egg quiche release. Once that's done, we can go ahead and pour our mixture into this pan, and you'll notice it fills it about halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way up. Now this is where you can customize the recipe. I'm just gonna make a simple cheese quiche, so I'm gonna put about another 1/4 of a cup of shredded cheese over the top, and then I'm gonna add some parsley and some chives. But you could add meat or veggies or whatever it is you like in your quiche that fits with your diet. This would be the time when you would add that in. Any meat that you add, make sure it is cooked ahead of time, like bacon or sausage or whatever. And if you wanna put veggies in here and you don't want them crispy, make sure to saute them and soften them. So I'm just gonna put my herbs on top here. Again, these things are always optional, so if you wanna be super strict and keep this totally carnivore, leave out any of the seasonings or whatever it is that doesn't work for your diet. But I'm just gonna put these right over the top, makes this beautiful looking cheese and chive and parsley quiche. You can see we have about 1/2 to 2/3 of that pan that is still there for room for this to expand as it bakes. So we're gonna take this quiche mixture very carefully, slide this into our oven, which is preheated to 375 degrees. We're gonna start and we're gonna check it at 20 minutes, but this is gonna take 25 to 35 minutes. It's gonna come out looking just like this. There's no jiggle. The cheese on top is browned, and you can see right here in the center, there is no liquid. It's not jiggly anymore. That's when you know it's done. We can take it out, let it cool, and we can plate it up.
All right, y'all, that is the crustless quiche. You can see the Parmesan cheese and the egg. I mean, it's almost like makes its own crust on the bottom and the sides, and it's just absolutely fantastic. I was just telling Ash, this is the best one of these I've ever made. I can make these really, really well, but this one I just nailed. It's so, so good. It's so custardy, it's so tasty. I'm really gonna enjoy this. Make sure to go check out all of the links down below. My Dow Strong knife link is down there, and they make some incredible knives. So if you're in the market for some of this kind of stuff, that's super helpful in the kitchen. I have that Amazon link non-stick cake pans that will do this really well down there also. There's the Patreon and my Buy Me a Coffee link. If you'd like to support the channel, that's the way we afford to do this. We really appreciate all of you in the band that are part of the Patreon group or that are a part of the YouTube memberships as well. Those are available. And there's some other stuff down there, some cool Chris Cooking Nashville swag and some different things. And there's even a couple of links down there for this lady's lovely music that just came out that the two of us are playing on her new Christmas single, Santa Look a Lot Like Daddy. Her cover of the old Buck Owens classic is out, and you can hear me and her both doing some lead guitar picking on that. So I'll put those links down below if you guys want to check that out. We really appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please go make some amazing quiche. Just enjoy this time of year because we're coming into holiday season where lots of fun things are going to happen, and we're going to have a bunch of fun recipes.
Yes.
This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my lovely wife, Ash Taylor. We appreciate you guys. Eat your meat and your quiche. love your life, and we'll see you right here in the kitchen for the next recipe. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good, so tasty. Eat it up. That's why I was like, I really don't want to taste chef's side on camera because I want to go, oh, bleh.
Nope.